Do you think you're sharp enough to know when a woman likes you? The truth is, you've probably missed more opportunities than you realize. Women have 4 very clear ways of sending signals to men, but if you don't understand them, those signals will pass by like a breeze. Stay until the end of this video, because once you grasp these 4 signs, your dating world will change completely. When stepping into today's dating world, many men carry with them old habits, experiences from their younger years. But then, they quickly realize everything has changed. Women today are no longer the same as 20 years ago, not even 10 years ago. Back then, a shy smile or a fleeting glance was enough. Today, women's signals are subtle, unpredictable, and sometimes full of contradictions. Just think about it. If you've been married, then gone through divorce or a breakup, and returned to dating at 40, 50, even 60, you'll feel like you're stepping into foreign territory. The way women converse, the way they test you, even the way they challenge you, is far different from when you were in your 20s or 30s. And if you still use the old tricks, still expect women to openly reveal their interest as before, then disappointment is inevitable. In reality, women today are clearer than you think. They send signals constantly. But the problem is, you're looking for the wrong signals. You're waiting for a hand to be held. You're waiting for a love confession or a direct hint. Sorry, those things rarely happen. A woman will not stand in front of you and say, "Hey, I like you, come over here." Instead, she chooses clever, subtle ways, just enough to give you the chance to step forward, but ambiguous enough so she doesn't appear too obvious. And this is exactly where many men lose their chance. Not because they're foolish, not because they're unattractive, but because they aren't perceptive enough to read women's hidden language. They miss the glance, miss the fleeting moment she passes by, miss the light touch she accidentally creates. They keep searching for some grand sign, when in reality, the truth lies in the smallest details. If you don't adapt, if you don't learn how to understand these subtle signals, then modern dating will always feel like a maze. But as soon as you realize, as soon as you know how women quietly send their invitation, everything becomes so much easier. Sign 1, she appears within your line of sight. Imagine you're standing in a bar, holding a beer, chatting with some friends. Music is playing, lights flashing, dozens of unfamiliar faces around. And then, suddenly you notice a woman appears in your line of sight. The first time, you think it's just coincidence, but then she passes by again, a second time, a third. Strangely, she's always near enough for you to notice, but never too close to seem deliberate. This is one of the clearest ways women signal they deliberately place themselves within your view. They don't say a word, they don't need to walk up and start a conversation right away, but they ensure one thing: you see them. I remember when I was 20, living in Sydney, Australia. Every weekend night, I'd go to bars with my girlfriends. None of us would just sit around waiting for men to approach. Instead, if we saw an attractive man, we would accidentally move to the area near him. He was at the bar ordering a drink, I'd head there too. He stood near the entrance, I'd find an excuse to walk past. Sometimes I'd even pass by twice, just to make sure he noticed me. Many women do this, and sometimes even they aren't fully aware of it. It's instinct, a way of saying, "I'm here, do you see me?" And interestingly, most men miss this moment. They think it's random. They tell themselves, "She just happened to stand near me." But no, most of the time it's intentional. So how do you recognize it? Very simple. Pay attention when a woman changes her position several times in a short period, and each time she seems a little closer to you. Notice if, in a crowded space, she chooses to stand or sit somewhere you can't help but see her. Notice if, while you're talking, her eyes always remain in your field of vision, as if waiting for you to look back. A woman won't run up to you and say, "Hi, I think you're interesting." But she will send the signal through her repeated appearances within your line of sight, and when that happens, you need to understand this is not a coincidence. This is the most delicate, subtle invitation: "I see you. I want you to see me." The question is, are you perceptive enough to notice it, or will you let the opportunity slip away just like so many times before? Sign 2. She adjusts her appearance when you're around. Have you ever noticed the moment you show up? A girl instinctively touches her hair. She tilts her face slightly, smooths the strand falling on her shoulder, or suddenly, she looks down at her phone as if to check something, but in reality, she's using it as a mirror for a quick glance at her face. All those little actions are not random at all. This is the second sign women will adjust their appearance when you're nearby. Why do they do this? Because in the instant she notices you, instinct drives her to want to look better, more put together. Even when she doesn't plan it, her hands unconsciously play with her hair, tug at her dress, or even pull out her lipstick for a quick touch-up. I still remember once at an outdoor party when a man I had my eye on walked over. I instantly felt a spark of electricity, and then, before I even had time to think, my hands went to smooth out my dress, straighten every wrinkle, and I quickly checked my phone screen to make sure no strands of hair were out of place on my forehead. I didn't do it intentionally. My body reacted on its own. And it's not just me. Almost all women do this. If they don't care, they won't bother about how they look. But when the presence of a man they find attractive is there, every little detail matters. They want to make sure that, when you look over, you'll see them at their best version. So, how can you recognize it? Very simple watch for sudden changes. She's sitting casually, but when you appear, she suddenly straightens her back, lightly pulls in her stomach, and flashes a more confident smile. She's talking with her friends, but when her eyes catch yours, her hand immediately goes up to fix her hair, or right in front of you. She pulls out her lipstick and gently reapplies a thin layer. This isn't a coincidence. It's body language. It's the subconscious signal women use to say, "I want you to see me as beautiful." And remember, a woman only cares about her appearance in front of a man she notices. If she does that when you're present, then you're definitely not invisible in her eyes. The question is, are you perceptive enough to read the message hidden behind every touch of her hair, every smile, every adjustment of her dress? Sign 3. She finds an excuse to talk to you. Have you ever noticed? A woman suddenly asks you a very random question. For example, do you know who picks the music here, or excuse me, where's the restroom on the surface? These sound trivial, even unnecessary. But the truth is, she could have easily figured it out herself. So why ask you simple? She's looking for an excuse to start a conversation. This is the third sign. Women usually won't rush over and bluntly say, "I like you. Talk to me." Instead, they use small, random, sometimes even awkward questions, because what they want isn't the answer. What they want is to create that very first moment of connection. I remember once at an outdoor party, from a distance, I spotted a man I found attractive. Instead of sitting still and waiting, I created my own opportunity. I walked up to him and asked a very silly question. "Do you know who's in charge of the playlist today?" Of course, I didn't care about the playlist at all. I just needed a reason to start talking, and any man who's perceptive enough would instantly know that wasn't really a question, it was an invitation. It's the same when a girl compliments your shirt, asks the time, or even teases the way you hold your beer. The words themselves don't matter. What matters is, she chose you. She decided to break the distance and build a bridge, waiting for you to step across. And sometimes, the excuse doesn't even come in words. It shows up in actions. She passes by and accidentally brushes against you. She drops something near you, or in a crowded space. She lightly bumps into your shoulder as she walks past. You think it's coincidence? No. That's how women create a safe excuse for you to turn, smile, and begin a conversation. This can vary depending on the environment. In a cafe, she might choose a seat where you can easily see her, then ask you something small like, "Do you have a charger?" At a crowded event, she'll place herself near you to have the chance to open up. Wherever it is, the common point remains, women always find a way to open a door. The question is, will you walk through it? So next time a woman asks you something that seems random, pause, smile, and think. Could this be an excuse to talk? Chances are, her question isn't about the words at all, but about the hidden message behind them. "I want you to notice me." Sign 4. She prolongs the conversation. Here's a truth. If a woman isn't interested, she'll find a way to end the conversation as quickly as possible. A distracted glance, a busy excuse, a reason to leave. All of these tell you, "I don't want to stay." But if she is interested, the story is completely different. This is the fourth sign women will find every way to prolong the conversation with you. I remember once after a big group dinner, when people started standing up to leave, I stayed seated, not because I wasn't full, not because I wasn't tired, but because I wanted to keep talking with a man sitting across from me. I kept asking more questions, slipping in little jokes, creating reasons for him not to get up just yet. I didn't say outright I want to stay with you, but every action, every glance, every smile was extending that moment. A perceptive man will notice the difference. A woman who truly wants to continue connecting won't be quick to check the time, nor will she hurry to turn away. Instead, she'll bring up a new topic right when the conversation seems to be ending. She'll ask you something else, just to have a reason to keep you there for a few more minutes. Pay attention to body language. When she wants to stay, her body will lean fully toward you. Her feet won't turn away. Her eyes won't wander around the room. On the contrary, everything will be directed at you. That's a strong signal I'm not ready to leave. I want to stay longer. And the most important thing, this isn't just how women show interest, it's also a test. They're testing to see whether you also want to prolong the conversation, or whether you'll be the one to cut it short. If you leave quickly, she'll sense the rejection and assume you're not interested. But if you respond, keep talking, smiling, telling another little story, then in that very moment, real connection begins to form. So, if a woman stays longer than usual, if she tries to spark more topics even when the meeting is wrapping up, understand this. It's not coincidence. It's her way of saying I like being with you. And in that moment, the opportunity is completely in your hands. Now, let's look back at the 4 clearest signs women often use to send signals to men. First, she repeatedly appears within your line of sight, passing by multiple times, or suddenly being closer to you. Second, she adjusts her appearance when you show up, from her hair, her clothes, down to a thin layer of lipstick. Third, she looks for seemingly random excuses to start a conversation, from a casual question to a light, accidental touch. And finally, once the conversation begins, she tries every way to prolong it, to have more time with you, to keep the connection from being cut short. These are not vague signs, nor are they guessing games. They're hidden language, the way women express their interest without direct words. And the truth is, most men miss these signals not because they're incompetent, but because they're looking for the wrong ones. They wait for some grand gesture, when in fact, everything lies in the smallest details. So next time you go out at a party, in a cafe, or even just at a casual get-together with friends, pay closer attention. You might realize that glance, that smile, or that light touch of her hair is actually the invitation. Do you want to come closer to me? And if you're perceptive enough, you won't let the opportunity quietly slip away. Smart men are not the ones who only wait. They are the ones who can read the signals, understand the message, and dare to step forward when the door has already been opened. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next videos on female psychology and the art of dating. And I'd love to hear your story. Have you ever noticed these signals, or have you ever realized them too late? Share in the comments, because your story might help another man avoid missing his chance. See you in the next video. And remember, stay sharp, because sometimes just one glance can change your entire life.